Reverend Crystal Cox, and I'm reading to you today out of the book called To Hear the Angels Sing, an Odyssey of Co-Creation with the Devic Kingdom. Dorothy McLean. Let's see, it was written in 1980. I'm starting, it's page 162. It is the common everyday emotion of love which best links you with us and with anyone or anything. You talk of getting into a rarefied state before you tune into us, but when you cease struggling and let love flood your being, our world is yours and you are part of all. Nothing need be separate from you, and you welcome everything into your consciousness. There is much talk of unity. Love brings life and reality to the talk. All sense of strain or limitation goes when you love. You need no knowledge, which often separates you from life. You need no special training. Life itself is the training which brings you to love. Folks, you are in constant communication with Spirit, with angels. You don't need to go into a meditative state. You don't need to take time off of this or time off of that to communicate with angels and Spirit. You can do it all the time, asking for questions and listening to answers. And being in love, accepting yourself, know yourself. Okay, when I asked what to do about a particular person or a thing for which I felt no love and couldn't even imagine loving, I was told that there was always some quality to love in every person, every thing, or every situation. When I found and loved that quality, my whole attitude to that person or thing would change. For the positive flow of that speck of love would clear the way for a greater flow, love being a powerful energy. So if you're having some issue with somebody, no matter what the issue is, think of something that you love about them. Maybe it's something that they wore. Maybe it's some aspect of them, their eyes, or, I've often counseled people in the energy of when, they're arguing with somebody or they're having some weird confrontation or situation. If you think about something that you like about that person, like maybe they have beautiful eyes or a beautiful color on their shirt or just one thing so you can invoke a positive energy. Okay, it goes on to say, this was advice that I practiced many times, particularly in the office. I would get bored sitting there all day, 7 days a week, typing, and with no time off. I would wish to be anywhere but in that office. I would long to be outside in the fresh air or doing something creative instead of typing routine letters. It seemed to me that even peeling potatoes would be preferable occupation, for then my thoughts could range freely and not be concentrated on typing words correctly. When I became aware of my negative state and remembered Devic advice, I would look around for something to love in the office. Almost invariably, that something was the cheerful yellow color of the walls, a color which I had chosen. Dwelling on the sunshiny yellow would lighten my thoughts, start a positive flow, and be the catalyst for seeing other things to love in my surroundings. My resistance to office work continued for 30 years until I learned to love it, and thereby to be freed from it. For as long as we hate something, we are drawing it to ourselves. As love grew in me, it seemed that it grew in the divas, and that they were poised with great love towards sympathetic humans. To me, their attitude was singularly beautiful, because when angels do anything, even giving a glance, they do it wholly. Unlike humans, they do not have surface hardness from the scars of old wounds or from old shells. They have no reservations. They are forever young and whole, and they call to what is forever young and whole in us. Actually, more people, especially young ones, are turning to life with the same beautiful openness. And as the landscape angel said, you can respond just as immediately and as freely as long as surface limitations have not beguiled you. You can let every creature be as new and fresh to you as we are, and then you make spontaneous contact with them and go your way rejoicing. Every soul is beautiful, and each soul responds to love. You need not worry about creating a witless world where everyone floats on pink clouds. The energies that flow through us and all of life are purposeful and forceful. Love is a firm reality forming a bridge over which all we can walk. Gooey sentiment is not love and does not exist with us. When we step towards you, we do it energetically. You can do the same. Though you cannot see or hear us, touch, smell, or taste, Still, we are a tremendous force. We stand here in love, a whole dynamic world ready for an intelligent relationship with an aware humanity. You need us, and we are ready, awaiting the recognition, love, and just treatment that you give your own kin. We wait in love for you. According to the angels, the dynamism of their world was also innate in humans. Their first message had referred to humans as potential powerhouses. Only Peter expressed power in his person. Eileen and I were too unsure of ourselves, but as a group in our first year at Findhorn, we had recognized the angels, asked for their help, and then had willingly used our hands, our feet, and our brains to apply that help. Have you guys heard of the the Findhorn Gardens? That's what they're talking about here. Research that if you haven't. It's really cool. It's a conscious garden. You know, you work with your plants, you work with your gardens, you're always in a state of consciousness and affecting the plants, the animals, the people around you. Okay, it goes on to say, the tremendous growth of the garden was evidence that some out-of-the-ordinary power was working. The Devas said, neither the power within you nor our power and the cooperation is awakened until it is recognized and evoked. This is only a beginning in this work. You are experimenting and learning, and your faith is growing. To me, angelic power was impressive, a sort of stark strength combined with lightness and freedom, an eternal untouched force beyond all their joy. The Devas often talked of human power, the fact that our thoughts gave strength or weakness to the plants, that our positive thinking helped keep the garden disease-free, or control the weather. They also discussed psychological ways of encouraging man's effectiveness, for example, by our appreciating the good instead of the bad in a situation. The Red Sage Diva likened the staggering quick growth of a plant to the marvelous growth of a human being, made the sage remark that humans can control everything. I have read a lot of studies about our thoughts affecting weather, our thoughts affecting water. Our thoughts really affect everything, folks. The huge conspiracy theory secret that the proverbial they don't want you to know is that your mind affects reality. Okay, so if you step away from the TV, step away from the emotions that's invoked by the news that's not necessarily real, and all of the emotions that you're being turned to, and actually consciously focus on what you want to create, you can affect the weather, you can affect disease, you can affect pollution. Okay, it goes on to say, you have previously thought that the energies of life are beyond your control, except as you manipulate outer form, but as you become aware of and attuned to the energy worlds behind form, and as you learn mastery of the energy patterns which your own thoughts and feelings create, you have all control. As long as you retain your human sense of separation, as long as you think anything in your life is outside of yourself and can blame something or someone for what's happened to you, you are in ignorance. You are outside the reality of oneness, and our energy worlds are beyond your ken. When you accept the unity of life, all life is yours, and you are all life. The St. John's wort diva talked of one aspect of power used in creation, an aspect ultimately seen in the wonderful delicacy, intricacy, and perfection of a plant pattern. Whatever happens, we hold the archetype pattern immovable. If alteration is necessary, we hold the alteration as part of the pattern. Then it is unchanging, a great steadiness stemming from the eternal peace of God. The incredible activity of our kingdom clusters around the patterns, making sure that they are brought into form perfectly, serving them endlessly. We state this because we would have you realize that you too have the same quality of the undeviated devotion to a pattern, which you can hold in a rock-like peace under God. The Diva went on to say that although our higher selves held our individual patterns in steadiness, it was best for our lower minds not to know our destinies until we were more centered on the divine. Then we could join them in wielding great power. To the angels, our difficulties were due to our lack of contact with our inner strength. All right, folks, I'll read to you some more out of this another day. Again, the book's called To Hear the Angels Sing by Dorothy MacLean, M-A-C-L-E-A-N. Pay attention to the power of your thoughts, folks. Talk to your guides and angels, and create the reality that you want. God has blessed you all.